We've all played this iconic game, but is it possible for me to recreate Super Mario Bros. Using only Chat GPT without doing any code in only 30 minutes? You're about to find out. The rules for this challenge is simple. I only got 30 minutes, no coding is allowed whatsoever, Chat GPT is the boss. I may create some sprites and backgrounds from a game, and at the end of the 30 minutes, I'll rate this game on a scale from 1 to 10. In the video description, you can find a link to my Patreon where you can download all the game assets for yourself. Also, make sure to check out my other videos from this series. Before asking ChatGPT to do any actual coding, I had to create some sprites and images. I have some sprites for the character, which ideally will be put together to some sort of animations. I of course have a pipe, which always is in a Mario game, and I have a background image, and I have an enemy, and some sort of goalpost. So let's see if we can put all this together in an actual game. I have written my very first prompt to ChatGPT, so let's start the clock. So the first thing I'm asking for is, I want to create a 2D platformer and you will do the coding. Here are some requirements. The code will be written in Python. The screen size should be 1600 by 900. The background is made up by background.jpg. Make sure this fills the entire height of the screen. Make a solid platform in the bottom part of the screen using several connected tiles of grass.png. Add a player using the image player still.png and add movement left and right to the player. It is controlled by pressing A and D on the keyboard. And after only reasoning for 20 seconds, we actually have our first line of code. And it is using Pygame, which is not a surprise. You can install Pygame by writing pip install Pygame in your console. I'm using Visual Studio Code for this. So I'll just copy, enter Visual Studio Code, paste. I only got 68 lines of code. I'll save it and press play, and let's see what this will be. Okay, so here we have the character, and we have the background is standing on top of a platform, and I should be able to move him if I press A. Yes, he's moving left, and D, he is indeed moving right. I'll check if you can go off the screen. I cannot go off the screen. Okay, so that's a good start. For the second update, I've only asked for a couple of small things. I want to make the player character smaller, preferably around half the size. And instead of showing only the image player still, I want to create some sort of running animation where I will be combining player still with player run 1 and player run 2, which are the two running images. So let's see if we have a smooth animation this time. So it has now reasoned for 34 seconds, and ChatGPT tells me that the player images are now scaled to half the original size, which is what I want. And when moving using A and D, the player cycles through 3 frames, the 3 different frames to create a running animation. And when not moving, the player remains in the still frame, which is actually very good thinking, because I was afraid that it would continue the animated effect when not moving. So this will be interesting to see. I'll copy and I'll paste the code. The code is now a little bit longer, it's 97 lines, and I'll run the file. And the size looks pretty good, and I'll try to move. Yeah, that's not bad. It needs to move or cycle through the animations a little bit quicker, I think. But we can fix that, and of course, if we could mirror the image when it's moving the other direction instead of moving backwards, that would be perfect. So that will be my next upgrades. So 2 short upgrades. 1, cycle through the animations slightly faster, and 2, when moving left, mirror the images, making it seem the player is running in that direction. So hopefully this will make the animations float a little bit better, and it will also make an effect seemingly showing Mario running both right and left instead of moving backwards. So yet again, I have to say this Chat GPT 03 mini high is crazy quick, only 31 seconds of reasoning, and I've got the new code. Oh, I copied it a little bit early. There, that is finished. So I'll paste it. It's now a little bit longer. Let's see if we get the desired effect. Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, that is so good. Great. Okay. For the next step, I want to add the jumping animation. So now I'm trying to implement the jumping in the game, and this adds more physics, because when adding jumping, we also need to make sure there's some gravity. I have not asked for that specifically, but I hope that ChatGPT will pick that up and add some sort of gravity effect so that the player actually also falls down. I want to add jumping by pressing the spacebar. I want, in the initial phase of the jump, I want to show player jump, which is the image of Mario jumping. And I've not said anything else than that. I also have said that it should be possible to move sideways in the air while jumping, so that the jumping is not limited to straight up and down. I'm kind of interested to see if ChatGPT now still has the running animation, or if it will be a strict jump all the way through, but let's find out. There are obviously things that could go wrong here, but ChatGPT is telling me that it has implemented jumping mechanics. When the spacebar is pressed and the player is not already in the air, the script says is jumping to true, assigns an initial upward velocity and reset jump timer. Each frame, the player's vertical position is updated using this velocity, which is then incremented by a gravity constant. So we have gravity. Also, the jump animation for the first 200 milliseconds of the jump, the script uses the player jump image. After that, the player is moving horizontally while airborne. The running animation cycles, or the still frame is used if there are no horizontal input. This sounds very, very good. So I can't wait to try this. So we got 148 lines of code, and let's run the game. I'm running, the running is really good, and now let's go for the jump. Ah, it's beautiful, but I think I want a little bit more air time. I want him to jump a little bit higher. So let's work on that. So I said that I would only work with the jump height, but actually I got kind of greedy, so we're working on making the game area a lot larger at the same time. I've asked ChatGPT to make the player jump around 1.5 times higher than it currently is. But in addition to that, I want the platforms to continue for around 4 times longer, to make the game area 4 times longer beyond the edge of the screen. And I always want the camera to pan horizontally, making sure that Mario is in the center of the screen. So ideally we should now be able to continue to move right beyond the original screen. I was kind of expecting this to take a while, but only a minute later we have a new code. And the changes now is that we have higher jump. The initial jump velocity is set to 18 instead of 15, which in combination with the same gravity will yield a roughly 1.5 times higher jump. So it's done some calculations on that. And we have an extended level. It has now incorporated a new constant, level width, which is defined to be 5 times the screen width. And also we have camera panning. It is calculated so that the player remains centered horizontally on the screen. Well, let's give it a go. Okay, so here is Mario, and he is running. I'm running to the left intentionally to see if I can run forever or not. No, I cannot. there we have the end. Okay, we should preferably start at the very left, but we can fix that. And jump, it is jumping higher, and Mario is always in the middle. Wow, this is great. Let's add some more. I got greedy once more. Initially I thought I was only going to place Mario at the left hand side and that would be it for this upgrade, but I then thought, well, I should increase the player speed, so I've increased the player speed by 1.2. I also added a goalpost at the right hand side, which will trigger a finish line, and I also ask for a play again button so I can restart the game. So this is actually our first version of the game. We have no enemies, it should be pretty simple, but it is still a game where the goal is to get from the left hand side to the right hand side. So after just a minute of reasoning and some code typing, we have the next version, which should include a faster player speed, a placement for the start and the goal placement at the end, and also some sort of play again button. So let's see what this is. It starts on the very left hand side. It is now running quickly. The jumping is smooth. I can jump from side to side, and I'm not quite sure how large this game is, but it will continue running. Maybe we'll make the width a little bit smaller. Here's the goal line. Let's see what happens. You win. Play again. And the game starts. Good. We need to upgrade this a little bit more, and we'll add some obstacles and potentially some enemies. For our next version, I've asked ChatGPT to decrease the game width from 8,000 to 6,000 pixels because it was kind of long, and I want to make the player start approximately 100 pixels from the left hand side instead of at the very beginning. And I also want to add 4 random placed pipe.png across the lower part of the game. They should pop up behind the grass, but the top must be at a height where the player is just able to jump on top of them. As expected, the AI model needed a little more time for this one. It has reasoned about the game width, the player start and pipes for 1 minute and 34 seconds. And as you can imagine, decreasing the size of the game area and the position of the player start was quite easy. But the reasoning of the pipes and how we should place them, make collisions turned on and so on, it took some more time, and I'm really excited to see if this is working as intended. Bear in mind, I have made no reference to Mario or Super Mario Brothers whatsoever in my conversation with Chat GPT. It has no clue that it is actually making a Super Mario game. So I'll copy the code, paste it. It is now 272 lines of code, and we'll run it. And here we can see the first pipe immediately. Oh, wow. Oh no! Okay, so he could float after the pipe. We have to fix that, of course. He can jump from the pipe, and he can jump from the air. Okay, so we have to fix that. Now just make sure we have 4 pipes. That one is good, and the size of the pipes is also good. And we have the goal and the play again button. Okay, we'll have to change the gravity around the pipes. So I've basically told ChatGPT that it is now possible to walk in the air if you just walk off a pipe, and I want gravity to impact the player immediately when it does not longer touch the pipe. The clock is ticking down, and we've got another code. We will have to implement an enemy soon because we are running out of time. But for now, let's see if the gravity issue is fixed. Here I am running, and it's random pipe placement, as we know, and I should now fall down. Yes. Oh, yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Okay, let's add an enemy. So for the enemies, I've asked ChatGPT to add 3 enemies, each represented by the PNG file, enemy.png. I want their position to be between 2 pipes. So between 2 pipes, there will always be 1 enemy. I want the enemies to move either left or right until they collide with the pipe, and then they switch direction. And also, if the player touches an enemy, the game is over. I thought this was going to take a while, but actually after only 35 seconds we have a new code. In this version we have enemy generation. There should be 3 enemies generated between the pair of pipes. We have enemy movement and pipe collision, and I didn't specify the speed or anything, so we'll just check to see how this is. We are soon running out of time, but we are able to have one final fix after this one if needed. Okay, so here we have the pipes, and actually there is no collision when I hit the pipes. I have to fix that, and the enemies seem quite big. I'll try to jump. I get you win. I should probably get you lose. I'll try just to jump, run through it. You win. Okay, so there is some fixes that I need to do, and we are very short on time, so this could either go very well or extremely wrong. So for our final version of the Mario clone, I've asked ChatGPT to decrease the size of the enemies around half the size, and I say that at the moment if I make contact with the enemy, I get a message saying you win, when in fact I should be game over if I'm touched by the enemy. And the third and final point, I can actually run through the pipes, make sure collisions are on so I can't run through them. So as our time is running out, we have to copy and test the final version of the code. And as we see here, the enemy size has now been scaled down. There is a new global variable result message which is used, and it is now set to check if I actually collide with an enemy or if I collide with the goalpost, because there are 2 different collisions. And also I should no longer be able to run straight through the pipes. So I'm really scared now because the code decreased to 284 lines. ChatGPT might have messed up. Let's check this. Oh my god, that was an extremely short field, but it's okay, I could jump through them. And after a random pipe placement, this is something that could happen. There should be more pipes. Here is the final enemy. I'll try to jump over him. I could not, so I'm game over. I'll try again. Here we have a more standard set of pipes. I can jump over that one. There is here something has happened. I believe it might be because the image has been stuck inside the pipe, maybe. Yeah, probably, because here's a new enemy. I really can't jump over them. Yeah, so there is an issue where the enemies might be stuck. And actually I would have to decrease the collisions are not working as well as I would hope, unfortunately. I could wait at the pipe and then jump over him, but I can't. I have to wait, and here 2 pipes are also mashed together. Okay, so unfortunately we weren't quite successful. I think this has extreme potential and I would love to work more with it. And you know what is the very best part? That you can download the entire code and all the images straight from our Patreon. Just take a look down at the video description and you can download them immediately, and then you can make your own version of this game. So the animations is working very good, the sprites are good, the background is good. Overall, very, very good, but unfortunately I was not able to make the game mechanics work as well as I would hope for in these 30 minutes. So I'll have to rate this game as a 7. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel, take a look at my other videos from this series, and I can promise you there will be more videos like this coming out very soon. See you later.